Alright, I want to welcome you all to a class that I believe will make a huge difference in the enjoyment of your life and the lives of your family. I want to talk to you about how you can stay young the first 100 years. Now, I already know what some of you are thinking. You're thinking, now just wait a minute. That sounds catchy, but do I really need to stay young 100 years? This sounds far-fetched and ambitious. Well, it's not. You need to start thinking about what it means for you and your family to live a long time. Let's look at the facts. So, in the 1900s, the average lifespan was about 49 years old. Now, there's no question this was because many people died when they were young. We didn't have the kind of cures and technology and healthcare that were provided today, but that's the point. Everybody's chances of living a long, healthy life was much less back then. Everyone's chances now are a lot better. As you can see, the average lifespan today is about 77, 78 years old, and it's growing. Scientists from the University of Texas reported that in April 2006 that by the year 2050 there'll be over 800,000 Americans over the age of 100, and many to be living to be 150. So what does that mean for you and your kids? Because it's going to be a long, long time. They need to take care of themselves. So yes, this topic you and your family need to know about. If you're going to live for 100 years, we need that long life to be a quality long life. We don't merely just want to exist on the planet. We want to be able to live and work and play on this planet. We want a quality life. Now, we have a huge group of baby boomers that are moving into their over 50 phase of life, and we can see a large number of what effects of long life can do. Long life reveals that we will have some major health concerns after 50 if we don't do anything before then. These are areas that we've never seen before because we haven't had such large numbers of people reaching that ripe old age. For example, now we are continually being confronted with mental disorders or diseases like Alzheimer's. The disease didn't just start. We just see it a lot more because dementia doesn't usually come on to a person until they're about 70 years old. Now that we realize that the chances are much greater of reaching this age, we also see the more importance of taking care of our skin. Old age has brought about a huge growth in cosmetic surgery. More and more people are trying to correct the wrinkle problem that comes with old age. But the biggest problem we see comes with the increased lifespan is the increase in musculoskeletal problems. In other words, your mobility function. The ability to move around like we used to. We have increased the odds of living past 80. And we've increased our lifespan activities, but we haven't changed the way that we take care of our spine. We're the first generation to witness the ramifications that long life creates. It reveals the areas of neglect. Now, the stats show the most common cause of function disability in persons over 50 is spinal disorders. Yeah, wow, that's like super important to know. How many of you plan to live past 50? How many of you think your family will live past 50? Alright, because I know I do. So let's think about it in this example. If your house was going to be broken into and somebody was going to steal all of your possessions, but I knew who was planning on doing it, and I also knew the time they were going to do it, and I told you about it. Would you do something about it to stop it, or would you just let it happen? So now I'm telling you what's going to rob you of your functional capabilities and when it's going to happen. Are you going to do something about it, or are you just going to let it happen? Of course not. Let's prevent it. Just like we would prevent somebody from breaking in your house if we could, but I think we all agree we should work harder to prevent our health from being stolen and our ability to function than we would our possessions from being stolen. Think about it. If we lose our mobility at 65 and live to be 105, that's 40 years of immobility and pain. So let's take a look at a couple areas of healthcare where we've already made some adjustments and improvements to our health. Look at the advancements we have made to tooth decay. We used to have many more cavities and loss of teeth in years past than we do now. We take much better care of our teeth with all kinds of preventative care measures, and now our teeth last longer and cause us less pain. More and more people are also living with less wrinkles. That's right, there has been about a 65% increase in the number of people wanting to get rid of wrinkles just since 1997. Wow, that's 12 million people who had cosmetic adjustments last year to get rid of another ramification of getting older, wrinkles. Now, I'm all for having longer lasting teeth and less wrinkles, but I think all of us can agree if you can't move, a lack of mobility will make you look a lot older than crow's feet, right? The only reason we respond to our teeth and our wrinkles before our spine is for the simple fact that if your spine was on your face, we would take care of it better. We don't want to wait till our teeth fall out before we take care of them, and now we must not wait for our back to go out before we take care of it either. You take preventative measures to have pearly whites, and you must take preventative steps to have good mobility, since the chances are absolutely huge that we will live for 30 to 40 years past the age of 50. Why is this even more important than your teeth? Well, because there's no such thing as a spine transplant. You can get a new set of teeth. There are many organs that you can be replaced. But if you don't take care of your spine, there's no going back like you can with your teeth. There's no crown or replacement. You just live with pain. And don't forget, this isn't limited to back pain. You can't get a new neck either. 1 in every 3 people suffer today with neck pain past the age of 50. Let's see, the raising of hands here. How many of you would like to use your neck past the age of 50 without experiencing pain? Pretty big club. I'm part of that too. If 1 out of 3 bad necks and 85 out of 100 have bad back pain, this is about as high of a statistic as I would think anyone would want to see to be convinced that we need to do something preventative about this. But just in case you need a little bit more convincing, let's take a look at what will happen if we don't do anything to prevent about this. What happens if we just let nature take its course? Take a look at this mobility scale. Now, the numbers on the bottom of this scale represent your age, and the numbers on the side of the scale represent the percentage of maximum mobility that you can have. In other words, if we took a look at the graph where you see the blue line, you can see that you can reach 100% mobility or your maximum mobility at age 23. Yeah, 23. Now, let's look how that blue line drops if we just let nature take its course. You can see that you will lose about 50% of your mobility that you had when you were 23 to the age 50. I'm sure that any of us around the age of 50 will testify that having about 50% of the mobility we had when we were 23 is probably conservative. Now, look at how the graph continues to drop about 25 more percent, drops like a rock. So by the time we're 60, we only have about 25% of the mobility we had when we were 23. Now, the big question to this revealing graph is, can this scale be changed? Do we have to accept this as just the way it is, or can we alter the results? The good news is, with preventative care, that we can make a big improvement to the line on this scale. Take a look at the blue line on this graph. Take a look at the red line on this graph of what happens if we just let nature take its course. And then let's look at the green line. This is what will happen with preventative care, with some preventative care. On this green line, you can see where your mobility can actually be held at about 75% through the age of 80, which is great. All right, now, that is what you want and need. That is where you want your family as well. If we all are going to be here, we might as well be able to move and function. So why not take the steps necessary to make this happen? Well, one answer you may be thinking is, this is the perfect thing to do if you're young. But what about those of us who have already experienced pain? What if we're already past 50? Is it too late to start? Absolutely not. In fact, I want you to congratulate yourself on getting here now. It's never too late to do the right thing. We want you to get on track for a great life, and here's how you can do it. The first thing you need to do is follow through with the recommendation of care you were given. The reason I mentioned following through is because we have already lived a long life with the mentality that you can take care of your spine and your joints if you're in pain. This means it is going to be easy for you to think when you get out of pain that you no longer need treatment. Listen, if you drop after pain relief, you are never going to change the results of the scale we just looked at. Pain is always the last to show up, and it's the first to go. The only way you can change the scale is to follow through with the phases of your recommendation care. Let's take a look at those 3 phases. The first phase is the pain relief stage. This is a reminder for some of you, but let's review to make sure you understand the cause of your pain and the other health-related problems. You have what's called a subluxation, which is the misalignment of the vertebrae that is causing your nerves interference. It is pinching the nerve, which can impact many areas and organs of the body, causing a lot of disease in ways that you might never relate to back problems. Picture it like this. If you have ever hooked up a garden hose and turned on the water, it works perfectly unless there's a twist or a kink in the hose. If the hose has gotten twisted, it stops the flow of the water that should be going through the hose, right? We might call that a subluxation of the hose. In other words, the misalignment of your spine can cause nerve interference, or is stopping the flow of the messages from the nerves to the other parts of your body and organs, causing back pain and lots of physical ailments due to the nerve interference. When the nerve interference is removed, the nerve flow is restored, and so is your health. So how do we remove the nerve interference? Adjustments. We remove it through a series of adjustments. The adjustments gradually move your spine back into alignment and away from the nerve, allowing the body to heal itself. You say, great, I get a series of adjustments that removes the interference, getting rid of the pain and the problem. So why can't I just stop after the pain's gone? It's important to emphasize this. Only the first phase of your care, and this alone, will never solve your problem or change your mobility scale. We must proceed to phase 2 of care, which is stabilization care. There is a reason why you must not stop with your care after you get out of pain. Your spine has actually been misaligned for a long time, and your body has now accepted the misalignments as being correct. Your body actually thinks this is the way it's supposed to be because that's the way it's been for so long. Now, the body's muscles and spine must retain it the way that it's supposed to. The spine must remain in the proper position for your muscles and spines. Now, the body, for a long enough time for the body to accept the proper alignment as the norm. This is called stabilization, and this takes time. Unless the spine and joints are retained with the adjustments and kept in the proper position for a long period of time, your body will naturally pull the spine right back into the misalignment condition. Why does it take time and why does it take work and time? Well, for example, can you go to the gym for one visit and get in shape? Can you lift weights one time and enjoy bigger muscles? We all wish we could go to the gym one time and come out looking like Mr. and Mrs. Olympian. But we all know it can't be done. It takes time and work to get your musculoskeletal system stabilized. It's going to take some time and a number of treatments. You need all of them. Did the orthodontist straighten your teeth on your first visit? I know mine didn't. Of course not. Once again, it took time and work. And even after the teeth are straightened, you kept your braces on for a long time, or wore a retainer even longer. In the same way, I've given you a recommendation of care that will not only get you out of pain, but will also follow so that we can get you in a stabilized condition, meaning your body has accepted healthy, proper alignment as the norm of your body. Once we have reached the stabilized condition, we will dismiss you from active care and move you to a third phase from your recovery, and that is maintenance or preventative stage of your care. I get the most excited about this stage of care because this is where we enable you to change that mobility scale and make a difference in the quality of your life. It isn't enough for us to want you to get out of pain. You have to want it as well. We want you to be able to move to an opportunity where you can enjoy life. This is what you want, isn't it? The good news is the stage will not require a lot of time or money. It will be simple and affordable. But at the same time, the dividends you are paid in health and life make it well worth the effort. Preventative care is essential toward changing the mobility scale in your lifetime. Even as I'm talking, I can hear the thoughts running through some of your minds. You say, I knew it. I'd heard before the chiropractor will want you to come back for the rest of your life. Well, maybe you are right. But before you make any judgments, let me ask you a question. What doctor have you ever been to that said, never come back again? Did you ever go to a dentist and a dentist said, don't come back until your teeth fall out? He or she wouldn't say that because it would be malpractice. They push you to do the right thing, which is preventative care. Do you remember when you first got your eyes checked in probably around the 3rd grade and they told you, good news, your eyes are fine, so as far as we are concerned, you need never bother again with taking care of your eyes, unless of course you lose your eyesight altogether. which in that case, maybe you should come back. I think it's time for you to be honest. There isn't any doctor, who has or should recommend that you ignore your health until there is a problem. No doctor could recommend that you never come back, and we certainly can't either, because it wouldn't be what you need to enjoy life with. Be assured, we don't want you to come in any more times than you have to. Our adjusting rooms are full as is. The purpose of our recommendation of care is to change the mobility scale for your life. We can't remove your wrinkles or make your teeth stay white, but we can enable you to move so you can work and play. And, of course, stay young for the first 100 years. I realize I sound rather passionate about this subject, and I get anxious about everyone experiencing the benefits of chiropractic care. But just let me give you one short reason why I feel so passionate about this. So, I am actually a patient at the chiropractor's office, and I had been experiencing low back pain for who knows how long. Of course, I go run every morning, finish my run, and I've got the worst back pain ever. Well, going to the chiropractor for the first time, I'm saying, well, it happens when I'm done a run, and I can't ever shake the feeling, and regardless of foam rolling and taking pain medicine, the pain always comes back. So, gets me x-rayed and everything. Yes, he takes an x-ray of my spine, takes a look at it, says, oh my gosh, well, this vertebrae is actually in the wrong spot, and adjustments will help with that. Then they also took an x-ray of what my neck looks like. My posture was terrible. My neck is just, it would explain why at night I would wake up and have just like a creaky neck. Yeah, a creaky neck. It would just be very stiff and hard to move. Now, right about this time, you should be thinking, hey, wait, before you quit, I do care about my health and the health of my family. I have family and friends that I know have never thought about or really known the kind of information that we've been talking about tonight. Well, what about their health and their mobility scale? Is there anything I can do about that? Most definitely, absolutely yes. You should also know that it is never too soon to start. In fact, even newborn children have already experienced great traumas to the spine during childbirth and should be examined. When you think about the tremendous pressure that is put on their neck and their spine during childbirth, I think it is easy for you to see we can actually start our lives with untreated problems. Obviously, your family needs to come in and be evaluated for a simple and easy, healthy plan towards preventing a life of immobility. The good news is, with a little bit of preventive care, we can eliminate much of their pain management in later years. This will be one of the best investments you can make. To illustrate how sincere we are, I have asked my assistant, Sally Jones, to help me help you. She is right in the back, and she has our appointment book schedule with, right now, available times for you and your family. I said we want to put your health and their health and future ahead of everything else. So, to show you how serious we are about this, we allow you and your family to have a complete first day service, which includes exam and x-ray, if necessary, for a total cost of $40. And we will donate the $40 to a charity of your choice. Yes, of your choice. This will allow you and your family to get started and to see for yourself how much it can mean to your health without it being an issue. To take advantage, you have the opportunity to schedule with Sally tonight. We will have to keep it simple and confined to those that are here. If you also want to schedule a family member under the same special offer, I know you don't have their schedule. I will tell you that if the time you schedule becomes impossible for them to make, they can call and reschedule because they are already on the books. and it won't require any explanation or arrangements other than a new time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed, and most importantly, plan to do everything you need to do to stay young these first 100 years. Thank you for coming.